All right, so this is the nutrition video for Muscle Building 101. Nutrition is the key, along with rest and recovery, on how you can build bigger muscles. Time and time again, I see guys spend 6-7 days in the gym lifting every single day. They look exactly the same as they did 5 years ago. And this is because of one of two things. Number one, they're not eating enough, or they're not eating right. And number two, they're not recovering properly, okay? So by eating enough or eating right, now when I say eating enough, when you want to build muscle, you have to eat a ton of food. Now, especially if you are eating 2,000, 2,500 calories a day already, and you're not growing, you got to jump, man. You got to go to 3,000 or 3,500. A good rule of thumb is to jump 500 calories for the next week. So let's say you're eating 2,000 calories each day this week, around 2,000, 2,200. You got to add 500 calories to your diet. Now, let me say this. There's only one way to know how many calories you're eating, and that is to record everything that you eat. Is it a pain in the ass? Absolutely. It fucking sucks. But sometimes you have to do it. If you really want to build muscle, then you have to kind of do it. I'm not saying you have to measure your food, but write everything down. Know what you're eating. Know how many carbs you're eating. Know how much protein you're eating. And know how much fat you're eating. If you don't know, then stop ordering out for lunch and start bringing your food in, because then you'll absolutely know how much you're eating. If you really want to build muscle, this is what you have to do. Same with burning fat. Okay, if you really want to burn fat, you have to know what you're putting in your body and in what amounts. That goes for building muscle. Okay, so once you know how many calories you're eating, I would take the next week. So today I'm shooting this on a Wednesday, so next week I would start, maybe I'm taking it 2,500 calories. Next week I would hit 3,000. Okay, see what happens. Now, more often than not, guys just go from the regular diet and then they start binge eating and they start eating like 5,000 calories a day. I used to do that and it backfired and I got really fat. I got really strong and I put on a lot of muscle, but I had a big powerlifting gut too. Which now, but it sucks because now when I diet down, I really have to buckle down on my eating to lose that tire around the center. It sucks, but it's just the way it is. So don't make too drastic of a jump in your nutrition to build muscle. 3 to 500 calorie increments, okay? If 500 is not enough after 2-3 weeks, bump it up another 250 or another 500, and that'll put you at, 2,750 or 3,000. Or, I'm sorry, 3,250 or 3,500, because we bumped up to 3,000 from 20. Okay, whatever. If it's not enough after a few weeks, definitely up the calories a little bit more. Now, how are we going to do this? You say, Chris, I can't eat that much food. I get it. But you got to sneak those calories in somehow, because if you don't, you're not going to grow. Okay? So you can do this by taking in shakes. I can recommend you guys some good protein shakes here on the site. I'll link them up for you down below. You can do that by, a quick way to do this that I used to do is hard-boiled eggs, right? There's like 100 calories per egg. You pop 3 of those with each meal, boom, right? You're eating 5 times a day, that's it's like an extra 1,500 calories. So maybe you don't eat 3 eggs per meal, maybe you eat 1 or 2, okay? That's a good way to do it too. If you don't like hard-boiled eggs, deal with it. This is not a choice. If you really want to build muscle, you eat whatever you need to eat, or do whatever you need to build to get there. Okay, that's what separates the people who build the muscle from the ones who talk about building muscle. Okay, it's the stuff that people don't see you do. Okay, so get those calories in. Shakes, hard-boiled eggs, tablespoons of peanut butter is good. You think 2 tablespoons of peanut butter gives you about 15 grams of fat, about 8 grams of protein. But it's a quick burst of calories. You need those calories to really build that muscle. So you got to think of real quick and creative ways to do that. Okay, real quick snacks. Greek yogurt's good. They're in a little cup. You can pop a couple cups of those, or add a cup per meal, and that'll give you an extra 500 calories right there if you're eating 5 times a day. You got to be creative. You got to think on your feet a little bit and really iron this out, plan it out a little bit more than you've been doing. Okay. The next thing I want to talk to you about is carbs. Okay. Carbs are essential for building muscle. You must have them. Okay. I hear people talking about building muscle on paleo or no carbs and high protein, high fat. Yeah, that's great. It may have worked for you. It's never worked for me. Anytime that I've put on really decent amount of muscle, I was eating carbs at least 2 or 3 days a week. Now, you don't have to eat carbs every day. It depends on your metabolism. I know a lot of skinny guys can eat carbs every day. I can't because of the problem I spoke to you about earlier. I got really fat in my early to mid 20s because I was so focused on building muscle. I was like eating half a pizza for lunch and washing it down with a protein shake, or like a bag of almonds and protein shake. Like, I was nuts. Like, I had to be 235 at one point because I was doing that. Now I have a higher sensitivity to carbs than most people. So I have to deal with that, you know? So when I build muscle now, I have to be very careful with my carbs. Here's a good rule of thumb when it comes to carbs when you are looking to build muscle without getting fat, okay? Unless you have a super speedy high metabolism, I would always eat protein at every meal and then either eat that protein with fat or with carbs. One or the other. Do not do both together. That's where people get in trouble. That's where they get fat. All right, so really dial in your nutrition and know what you're eating in what amounts. And the best way to do it is this. So if you have a really fast metabolism, you're a really skinny guy, it takes a lot of time and effort to really build muscle or to try to build an ounce of muscle. Eat carbs every day. Eat whatever you can get your hands on. Majority of people like me and like a lot of people out there, maybe this resonates with you watching, we don't have that luxury. We really have to watch what we eat, especially when we get older. So the best thing to do is add 2 high carb days into your diet. Space them equally apart. For me, it's Monday and Thursday. It's easier for me to do that. You can do Tuesday and Friday or Wednesday and Saturday, whatever's going to work out best for you. Have the majority of your carbs on those days, split up with however many meals you eat per day, and go about it that way. And then adjust if need be. But don't start with a higher amount of carbs and then have to try and lower it. You want to start lower and up it if you have to. Does that make sense? Good. All right, so protein and fat, or protein and carbs, not both. And start tracking your calories and make adjustments as needed. And watch this video as many times as you need to let it sink in. I'll write this all out for you guys as well below so you guys have it on paper. And that's it. Let's jump to the supplement section and the rest of the recovery section. All right, guys. See you in the next one.